One of the fastest ways to get yourself on the no-fly list is to force yourself through a TSA checkpoint. Props to this dude for intervening in this situation. I'll touch upon my opinions on intervening in general when it comes to stuff like this, but I want to talk about his takedown because it was a beautiful takedown. Mat returns, one of my favorite ways to bring someone down to the ground. They're extremely simple to do, yet extremely effective. In my opinion, it's one of those low risk, high reward types of takedowns. And if you've had any sort of wrestling experience, which this guy states in an interview that he did, even though it was like in middle school, it's just one of those takedowns that sticks with you forever. Now, this could have gone really wrong for this individual had he decided to spike the dude on his head, do a blast double through something, but no, he chose to stick to a safe and effective takedown, brings the guy right down to the ground, holds him there until the authorities arrive and arrest him. The only thing I wish we had footage of for this breakdown was what happens once this guy brings him down to the ground. I would have loved to see the way that he controlled him on the ground, because that is one thing I have noticed with a lot of less experienced people, that when they do hit a takedown and bring someone down to the ground, they don't know how to control them, and that person just ends up fighting their way back up to their feet. So just as the takedown itself is important, knowing how to control them and establish pressure immediately once you do hit the ground is just as important. So that being said, let me show you how I like to hit a mat return, as well as a few other takedowns that you can hit on somebody if you are able to establish a rear body lock. Now, whenever I do mat return, I like to set mine up in two ways. The first one is I like to take my outside leg and step in front of his leg a little bit, not crazy far, just enough to block the knee and block the hip. Essentially what I'm trying to do is prevent him from stepping out or posting or doing anything that would prevent me from actually being able to bring him down to the ground. The second thing I'm doing is I'm loading my hips up into him, because it makes it easier for me to load up his weight, pick him up, and bring him down to the ground. So once you've gone to the back here, outside leg, I step in front, I hip in, we bring him right all the way down to the ground. Now, the second way that I'll do this, if you don't want to step in, because again, I still want to prevent him from being able to post out, is I'll take my outside leg and I essentially just sweep out the leg underneath him. So I'm still gonna go behind him, I load up with my hips. As I pick him up, I sweep that leg, and again, we bring him all the way down to the ground. Now, mat returns are great. They're simple takedowns to do, but you do have a variety of takedowns that we can hit once you do get to the back body lock position. Another one I like to hit is a tabletop. Now from here, once I do get to the back, the way that we're gonna set this up is whatever side I'm facing, I'm gonna take that same leg, post it behind his legs. I'm gonna take my opposite leg, drop down to a knee, creating a table, or I'm essentially going to now pull him over my hip and bring him all the way down to the ground. Now, sometimes you will come across guys that as you start trying to pull them, they're trying to keep themselves upright. It makes it a little bit difficult to get that full momentum all the way down. At that case, I will take the inside leg and I will actually do a kick back, clear the leg, and we pull them down all together. Now, to set this up, I don't want to just go from a standstill and again drop, because I'm going to have to create that momentum on my own. So instead, once I do get to this body lock position, I like to drive in a little bit. At some point, they're going to pump the brakes and push back into me. When I feel that resistance, that's when I switch. Again, pull them down and we pressure it. One more time with the kickback. Again, I get the body lock, I drive in, I switch, I kick the leg. Again, we pressure it. Next, we have a hip jerk that you can do. Typically with the body locks, people are gonna have their grips in the center. When I go to do this one, I'm going to shift and get my grip right above their hip bone. Notice I also turn my body. I'm not trying to stay centered to him and have my hands here. I'm gonna completely shift at an angle. Now the idea with this one is that we're pulling his hip down this way, but at the same time, I'm literally kind of doing like a Heimlich maneuver onto his hip bone. The first bump is gonna buckle that hip. The second one is what we do to actually get him all the way down to the ground. The idea with this is that we're not stopping. It's just a constant pressure, pressure, pressure as we're turning. So again, we get to the body lock, I shift off to the hip, and we're just constantly ripping that hip down. Now, one thing you'll encounter, and in this video, you see that the guy kind of comes in at the side and then manages to duck under and get to the back. If for whatever reason you get stuck on the side, I have a body lock. We do have takedown options from here, but what you will tend to see is guys will take this far hand and they start trying to fight and peel that grip off. If that's the case, you'll notice that their elbow starts to flare. My back hand is going to pummel to the inside, grip the elbow, bottom hand pummels to the wrist. Now I have a split seatbelt grip. I pressure this in, my back leg steps nice and deep, my head pressures up. Now I'm in a good position where I have him locked out. At this point, I pull him straight back, down, And again, we pressure it. Couple little things I want to add once you actually do get to the ground. Number one, in the process of going to the ground, don't let go of your hands. In the video, the guy, as he's in the process of bringing the dude to the ground, lets go and then re-grabs him again once they hit. I want to keep that grip the whole time. So if we're just doing the mat return, my hands, once I've locked them, they don't open. They stay connected the whole time. Now, secondly, from like this position exactly, ideally I want to get to like a top control, right? I want to get to like a seatbelt grip, gift wrap position, technical or tactical mount, whatever you want to call it. Like I want to get to some form of top control position. However, more times than not, when you get here, inexperienced people especially are going to immediately turn onto their back and start trying to come back up into you and fight me, right? So what I want to do to prevent that is keep their hip pressure going away. So the moment you take somebody down, kind of just walk your hips into them a little bit, keep their hips facing away from you. If anything, they might actually turn that way and go to their bellies, which is a better position for me, or, come back, they just stay here, kind of give up, and now I use that as an opportunity to climb up. But I just kind of want to ride that wave a little bit, knowing that this guy's going to give me some resistance. So when you do take them down, take a little step back, pressure into their hips, then we climb up and we get control from there. So again, those takedowns are great for self-defense and sport. Those are ones that we tend to teach in a lot of combative type environments because of the fact that they are low risk. They allow you to establish control once you do hit the ground. And more importantly, you are in a good position to where if for whatever reason you feel like you're losing control or you need to disengage, you are able to safely disengage, access your tools, create some space, throw in some strikes, whatever you need to do, you are safely able to do that compared to trying to take them head on with a single leg or a double leg or something along those lines. Now, intervening in general, I have said this repeatedly across all of my social media. You have to be careful whenever you decide to intervene in something that does not involve you, because there are a lot of risks involved. You have to take all of those potential risks into account before you decide to intervene. How many people are involved? Do you know who is in the wrong? Who is the quote unquote bad person? In other words, if you do decide to interject yourself, who is it that you're trying to help out? Do you know the full circumstances surrounding the situation of why these people are fighting or why this individual is running through security at an airport? Do you know for sure that there are no weapons involved? Because it's one thing to get into a fist fight. It's another to get into a fight where a weapon comes out, such as a blade or a firearm. Who is with you? Now, if I'm by myself, I might react differently compared to if my son's with me or my wife's with me. And then lastly, you need to take into account the location. For instance, in this situation, you're at an airport. Airports in general, people tend to be a little bit more on edge. So for me personally, one that typically won't intervene, I very well might have stepped in this same situation as well. Now, taking into account the risks of intervening is just one thing that you have to take into consideration. You also need to have an honest conversation with yourself and understand what are your skills, what are you capable of doing, because that's also going to be a big factor in whether or not you intervene. So for instance, if you don't have any fighting experience or grappling experience, you don't know how to throw a punch, then you have no business intervening in a fight, trying to break up a fight, or intervening in a situation where you are getting hands-on with somebody. Because again, if you don't even know what to do in that situation, how are you going to help out? Do you have any medical training? If there is a crisis, if there's an emergency, if there's somebody bleeding out and you don't know what to do, as much as we want to jump in and help out, you could very well make matters worse. So on one end, you should seek some medical training so that, again, if you do find yourself in a situation where people need help, such as a mass shooting, for instance, you're able to jump in and help provide medical aid. But other than that, if you don't have the medical training, I would advise against intervening because, again, if you don't know what you're doing, you could make matters worse. And then lastly, you need to have an honest conversation with what your physical fitness levels are. So once again, if somebody's rushing through security like we just saw and you're not in the most physical shape, or maybe you have an injury or you got a bum leg, you're walking with a limp, then don't get hands-on with somebody. Don't put yourself in a situation where you have to be physical and you have to rely on your physical strength and your just overall physical capabilities. Because again, if you're limited in any way, shape, or form, not only are you not going to be a big help, but now you might make matters worse and you yourself might become the victim. So as I always tell people, it is up to you on whether or not you want to intervene. I have nothing against people intervening. I always just advise that you take into account the risks, really take a step back, look at the situation, see if it's something that you really are worth risking your own personal safety to intervene. And then again, ask yourself, what are your skills? And if you don't have any of the skills required to deal with the situation that you are witnessing, then just sit back, be a good witness, get on the phone with the authorities, let them know what's going on, and let the professionals handle the situation. All of that said, this citizen handled the situation incredibly well. As I stated earlier, he hit a simple yet effective takedown, holds the guy on the ground, doesn't appear to apply any further damage to this individual, and he holds him there until the authorities arrive to take over. Now, for the rest of you watching this video, let me know in the comments below if you were in this guy's position and you were standing at the airport watching somebody rush through the security line. Would you intervene or would you step aside and let the person run past you? Let me know in the comments below. Stay safe.